Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today we're taking a look at news consolidated from April 21st through the 27th, roughly. We're going to be talking about more live service garbage. Man, when I saw this, it's just like, it is truly getting worse. It really is. And then we're going to be chatting about Fallout. There's been a huge surge of players coming back because of the TV show. We're also going to look at the Fallout 4 update with the issues that we have. And then this also brings up another point that I'm going to bring up with some of the new kind of like user-created mods, user-created like remasters like Sky Oblivion, and I think this is kind of interesting to talk about because it is kind of the future of gaming, and user-created mods versus what's officially through the company is not necessarily jiving well together, and I think we need to talk about that a little bit. Also, we're going to be talking about a new gaming studio. Here we got another one. I've been covering these already throughout this year, and excuse me, we're 4 months into the year, and we got another studio. I'll talk about them and what they're about. Next is going to be taking a look at Square Enix's Final Fantasy sales. So they're not doing too good on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Not as many as they thought, and we're going to talk about why. We're also going to have some updates with a new... Oh, man, yeah, just some of this live service stuff. CoDMobile, we're going to talk about a new gun skin that's out there. We're going to take a small look at Stellar Blade on how that game's doing, which most of us probably know already. We're also going to take a look at what Ubisoft is doing. They are hearing people's responses with Star Wars Outlaws, and I'm going to share with what they're doing about it. We're also going to be talking a little bit about a GDC survey to 600 gaming studios that responded, which is pretty big in how they see the future of live service. So if all of this sounds interesting, you can go ahead and like, sub, all that good jazz at YouTube, Gaming Garbage 22 at YouTube, and also over at Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee. And then also we have a Discord server, not just to mingle, but also to find other folks to play with. We used to really enjoy playing, finding friends and playing with friends in video games and stuff. And we used to have, excuse me, used to have hubs for that. And we kind of really don't anymore today, and I would love to start bringing that back. And don't forget to, we'll let you know when the next kind of like classic COD event is, and we hope you guys will join us for that. So let's go ahead and get into the news. So more live service garbage. So Escape from Tarkov has a new kind of DLC game mode, game feature coming that is $250. What? $250. I'm not even kidding. And it's called the Unheard Edition, which just sounds ridiculous. Like there's so many other names they could have gone with, right? The Unheard Edition just sounds like they're just running out of things to to describe. But it's basically a PvE mode that you can play with friends, up to 5. Now, this does have priority matchmaking. This also has more stash content. You get an armband. Congratulations. I think there's also a background loading screen that you get in there that's unique. And then you get no wipes, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. I haven't played the game. But, this game has been out for, like, years now. I think we're getting fairly close to 10 years. And you get some other, stuff, too, like a knife that's already in the game. But the community's been asking for PvE for some time because they're, and a lot of us too would probably agree, PvP is kind of getting old, okay? We've had that model for roughly 10 years now with like the start of PUBG and Fortnite and Apex, that came out, I think that was 17. And I mean, we've just had continuations of that kind of genre, and it's getting old because the frustrating thing with the entire thing is you put everybody in, and even though you're on a team, you're not really working with other team members. You're more like competing even with your own teammates to get kills, to get more points, whatever, because it's all about leveling up as fast as you can as you're grinding your weapons and your gear, and it's not really about the playing experience, and it's not very cohesive anymore either. And then you're also competing with other people on the field, and it's also competitive. Content creators and live streamers don't help with this either. And so really you kind of just get the sweaties at the end of the day because the casuals don't want to play. We started seeing that pretty much with every single PvP type of game out there, including Destiny, where it's like, good golly, I don't have time to grind all of that, or I don't really want to play PvP, or I'm just getting slaughtered all the time, and so I don't want to play Warzone, I don't want to play Overwatch. I just want something that I can play together. And I do think we're going to see a resurgence in co-op games that has a better focus on that. Like Ghost Recon Wildlands or Breakpoint. Like, those are pretty good ones for PvE. And actually finding some folks on there. And it's not as competitive. It's more about working together. And those types of games are fun. I find them fun too. Honestly, I would rather play those. Because, yeah, I'm old. I'm getting slow. It's getting hard to keep up with you young folks. But, like, this is just insane. Like, the community's been asking for this PvP for some time, but it's behind $250 paywall. And so, with the pushback, they're like, oh, okay, don't worry. We're, we're going to give it to you, but there's a catch. We're only going to give it to you for 6 months. And then you have to pay for it. And what's crazy is, like, people have already paid for a different edition of the game that's already been out, which is no longer accessible, I guess. It was $150, and it was the promise of all future DLC. Well, the creators don't see this PvE mode as DLC. They don't see it as story content. They see it as a game mode, as a feature of the game that's added, and that's extra. And I just think that's awful, because that's not how we would perceive it at all. But then that also brings up the point, it's like, okay, so now we have to mince words even more than we already do, just to make sure that we're actually getting value out of this, because $150 to not be able to play PvE is kind of ridiculous. And now maybe we actually get, with all the backlash, we get 6 months temporary access, But yeah, you're still going to have to pay that $250. And so I really think a lot of publishers are tone deaf, even some of the kind of like mid-grade studios, just like those that make Escape from Tarkov. Okay, they have a great concept, they have a really niche player base, and a lot of people have paid that $150. I was listening to a stream where a big-time player was talking about how he can see most people are wearing the content with the $150 bundle. Basically, a lot of people have paid for it. He said there's probably more players that have paid for it than those that haven't. And then to have this smacked in the face, hey, hand us another $250 so you have a PvE mode that you can play with your friends. Gal, it's really not going over very well. And I do think it's time to stand up, folks. I really do. I've been promoting that on this channel since last year, where it's like, we need to start saying, hey, we need games to work when they're released, and we also need games to actually be games. Not this parsed out expansions and parsed out features and different modes and maps, and like, we actually need games to come back and be what they were, instead of just, the digital closet shopping experience. Because I'm really tired of that. I mean, I've already been tired of that, but I'm glad more people are starting to hop on board. So the only way companies are going to figure this out is if we withhold money from their live service aspects of their games. That's how we change this. But yeah, it's just another example of why I just hate live service, because ultimately it's going to be focusing on the whales. That's what it leads to. Okay, we got to see this with World of Warcraft. We got to see this with Siege, with Counter-Strike Go, with Fortnite, with Overwatch 2, Diablo 4, Halo Infinite, even GTA Online subscriptions, where they yanked 300 cars out of what was accessible with the game and then put it behind a paywall with the online subscription. Call of Duty, the Jabba the Hutt mission, even with having to buy the season pass, which is $40 for Star Wars Outlaws, that's coming out later in August, which I'll be showcasing here on the channel at launch. I'm buying it so you don't have to. But gosh, I mean, this is just getting frustrating, and I've mentioned this too before, folks. Like, I'm worried about the publishers focusing on where the money has come from. And I'm afraid that they're going to start focusing on the players that actually pay money, which are the sweaty people in the PvP. Okay, it's the same folks that continue to buy this content, and it's the content creators too that you guys pay for. You basically pay for their living, and then they go out and they buy this stuff. And if the publishers start focusing on where the money comes from instead of how many players they have, then they're going to focus on the whales, which is awful. Because then that means the game are no longer made for us. It's just made for those that have a ton of money. And if you don't know what a whale is, it's just basically somebody that's willing to spend thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars basically on a video game so that they can have the cosmetics, have all the features and game modes and maps and everything else, all of the weapons, basically get all of the content in the game. And money isn't an object for them. It's just they have so much of it they can spend a ton. And congratulations for them. I'm not dissing on their lifestyle or how much money they're making at all or whatever they're doing to get that. But it's just the publishers are going to focus on where the revenue is, not how many players they have. And that's what I worry about. Next, we're going to talk about Fallout. So, Fallout is having a massive resurgence across all of their games. Todd Howard has said that through Bethesda, they're able to see that they now have 5 million players right now, going back to all of their Fallout games, which is really impressive. So again, this includes Fallout 3, Fallout 4, also includes New Vegas, and Fallout 76. Fallout 76 has had 1 million players visit in one day. Now, the reason I think they've had that many is because... possibly because, well, is that on Game Pass? I don't know. I would imagine it is. Dang, I'm really curious now. But I'm going to mess up my stream if I look. So, I'll leave that. I'll try to remember to leave that in the comment or in the description. I'll look that up. But yeah, I think Fallout 76 is actually a part of Game Pass. And also it'd be a part of PC as well. Oh man, yeah, I'll have to look that up. Sorry, folks. But yeah, 1 million players have visited in one day with Fallout 76. And Fallout 76 did not launch well, okay? It basically took over a year to fix the game. And the biggest thing was, like, it was an empty game because they were like, well, the players are going to help create the story and the content and whatever. Well, again, multiplayer games aren't really that cohesive anymore because people would rather just have their mics off. People just would rather not engage. And so multiplayer games don't, collab and work together like they're supposed to. Like, you still need NPCs. You still need something to players to engage with so that they can have content. And yeah, multiplayer too has just really changed, unfortunately. But yeah, 1 million players. That is insane. That is insane. But yeah, the TV show has had 1.5 million views so far through Prime TV with Amazon. My wife and I, we're about halfway through the TV show right now. And yeah, they've just been killing it. Also, Fallout 4 had a 4K update with quite a bit of free content, even user-created content with the update. And so, yeah, we're going to get into that next. But yeah, the TV show and the update for Fallout 4 and the availability of the old games. I mean, they're just having a brand that is just really working for them, and the TV show has done a great job of bringing old players in, old players back, and bringing new players in, and I think that's what the numbers show. 5 million people playing on Fallout games. That's just crazy. So the Fallout 4 update. Okay, so this was, first... This was kind of delayed unofficially. They're like, hey, this is probably going to come out in 23. That didn't happen. And then people were asking this year, hey, what about, the Fallout 4 update? And they said, well, yeah, we're going to work on it. We're going to focus on, Starfield first, which Starfield has 6-week updates basically every month and a half, every couple of months. We are going to be getting DLC also later this year for Shattered Skies. And then, but yeah, the 4K update, unfortunately, that was the big focus. Hey, we're going to basically remaster Fallout 4 for free, and it's going to be in 4K, but unfortunately, it's pretty broken. So let's go over it. PC, of course, is the worst off. Certain graphic cards don't work well already with Fallout 4, and this is still not fixed. There's features like widescreen that just stretches the screen, so it's not true widescreen, right? There's no extra pixels there. It's just the same dimensions stretched over a widescreen, which is what, 16 by 9. So that sucks. All of the mods are broken. Also, Fallout London, which was announced in like 2021, is now delayed. They were literally going to release that on the 23rd of this month, literally, and the update came out on the 25th, 2 days later. And the creators, and this is user created, this is a huge mod that they've been working on for years, and you know, the users were like, yeah, we can't launch it because now we have an update that we have to work through. And you know, unfortunately, Bethesda didn't work with them. There was even an official trailer released for Fallout London. But yeah, we're going to get Fallout London at a later time because they got to now work through and make sure it works for the current code of the game. We also had a update apparently for March of this year. We're now Fallout 4, and I really kind of want to check this out. Fallout 4 apparently has a what do you call it, like a mod menu for console. So I'm kind of curious about that. I've always kind of liked the idea of having mod access. Again, like as soon as there's an update, it screws up all the mods. You got to start it all over or whatever, which can kind of be a mess. But yeah, it's unfortunate that Fallout London is delayed. And that's part of the issue too, is like the unofficial stuff that's made for games, well, they are all subject to whatever the game is going to be officially. And I do think in the future, not anytime soon, but I do think in the future that especially Bethesda is going to have to maybe start working with their community on the games and IPs that people love. Even those that love Starfield, there's still being mods made for that. Bethesda's going to have to work with the community, with user-generated content. And we even have games that are just focus on user-generated content, right? Like Roblox, like Minecraft, just to name a couple. And I think that's kind of cool, but some people see it as like, you know, creators basically making the game for somebody else, you know, which should be a full-fledged game. And I agree, it should be a full-fledged game. But I think the ability of content creation allows things to keep going forward. I mean, look at YouTube. YouTube is huge, and it's all because of us. It's all because of us that make stuff for YouTube, and it's whatever it's on. I mean, any subject you want, anything you want to know about, is pretty much on YouTube. I mean, it's the biggest archive library ever. It's massive. So continuing on with Fallout 4 update. PlayStation players also have a problem. Even those that have PlayStation Plus, they still have to pay $10. This was supposed to be free. And so Microsoft Bethesda is working on this to making it free. So don't pay for it, okay? Just wait. Just wait for it to get fixed. And also on PC, like probably just wait for things to get fixed and don't update the game. If you already did, bummer. Now you got a worse broken game. But I am curious though how big this was. I personally I haven't done it yet. I should. Yeah, it's just been busy, folks. Another issue too is like the Series X and S also have an issue. They seem to have the least amount of issues, but like the quality mode doesn't work. So the whole point of this was like, you know, and it was even called the 4K update. Well, you turn performance mode off, which gives you the 60 frames per second, but like it never actually switches in the game. All the resolutions stay the same at 1080p, and it's just built that way. And so yeah, quality 4K doesn't work. It's just kind of ironic. That was the whole point. So yeah, that sucks. So yeah, they're gonna have to work with that. There are some fixes to the game, and there is some user-generated content. Again, you got like 38 items from like a Halloween party from the Techno Crack party that happened, which I don't know the lore in the game for that. But yeah, there's some settlement items. There's some weapons in the game. There's also new outfits for your characters and stuff. But nothing really made. From the TV show, all of that went to Vault Shelter Mobile, right? Instead, which I think sucks. I think it would have been great to have some content made from the TV show to come to the Fallout 4 update. Maybe that's coming later. I hope it is. I think it'd be hilarious to be able to just have a wedding dress and just run through the wasteland. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, watch the Fallout TV show. I really don't think you'll be disappointed. It's been pretty good for a TV show. But this also does bring up the idea with the Fallout 4 4K update and issues breaking mods and delaying Fallout London. Will Skyblivion get screwed? So this is a mod that's being again user created. It's unofficial. It's going to be a mod for Skyrim, and this is supposed to be coming out. But again, we had an update for Skyrim this year, which was kind of shocking. We got user-generated content on a smaller scale. We got a few options to be able to pay for stuff. There are some videos out there where people have paid for all of them. They basically show you what they are and whether they think it's worth it or not. Everything from different buildings to outfits to weapons, whatever. But yeah, it does bring up the question, does this screw up other mods? And Skyblivion is going to be huge. Okay, they've been working on this a long time. It's all of Oblivion remastered as a mod for Skyrim, which is awesome. That would be wonderful to have. But like, if they keep having updates, these mods are going to have to continue to be worked on, or maybe they're never actually going to come out. And then we have heard that Bethesda is going to have an Oblivion remaster. That's a rumor floating around out there, which would render Skyblivion basically useless. Most people would be like, woohoo, Oblivion remaster, and just run out and buy it, instead of actually waiting for Skyblivion to come out for Skyrim. So, I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Would you rather wait? I think it's cool. People can create mods for games, and I would love to see that space expand, and even more of it to be able to come to console. But again, I think the publishers, they need to start working with the creators and to actually start making some of this official, because sometimes the creators have better ideas than the publisher does, or what the devs are capable of. Because the devs have to work on fixing bugs and have to, actually create the game. And, well, we could have expansions through content creation. I think that could be pretty lucrative for both parties. But if you have updates all the time, that can really mess it up. Also, can we have mods for Starfield? If Starfield is going to have updates every 6-8 weeks, that's going to keep messing up the mods all the time. So, again, it's like, is it worth the struggle? I guess that's the question we have to ask. Next, we're going to talk about the new studio. So this is Uncapped Games. There's not much known about this, but they are a newer, smaller studio. The founder is the multiplayer lead for StarCraft 2. The other devs are from Relic, Blackbird, and Blizzard. Basically, the other studios that have had layoffs lately. And the game that they're working on will be a paradigm shift in real-time strategy, RTS. The game is only going to be for PC, not console. Which, again, most studios have said about roughly 60%, hey, we're making games for PC, we're not making, and the other 40% roughly are making games for console. So, yeah, if you have a PC, of course, and it's always been this way, you have greater access to more actual games, because there's so many more players. There's over 1 billion on PC, and that is just such a huge market. There's a clue on their website about the game. I'll be sure to link that description below, so you can take a look at it. They have some cover art there, kind of on the background, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it is. If you're interested in RTS, keep Uncapped Games kind of on your radar, and we'll be hearing more from them, later. So let's talk about Square Enix. They may need to do more than just remakes. So Final Fantasy Rebirth had a lot lower sales than expected. For the same period, Final Fantasy VII Remake had 3.5 million in sales, while Rebirth during the same period only had 2.2 million, which is a pretty considerable drop. That's over 30%. There will still be a third game that is going to be coming out, so don't worry about that affecting a third title. But Rebirth was likely to be worse, as it's only on PlayStation 5. The remaster was on PlayStation 4 and 5. and there's a lot more consoles out there. Basically, 100 million consoles out there of PlayStation 4s, and there's only about 50 million on PlayStation 5. So, yeah, I mean, we could probably expect for the sales to go down. We also saw lower sales for Final Fantasy 16, especially in Japan. Final Fantasy 16 kind of changed the style in which their game was played, made it more action-y instead of turn-based and all that kind of stuff, which for those of us that grew up with it or at least know of it, yeah, it was a turn-based strategy game. And Japan doesn't like the Americanization of Final Fantasy becoming more of an action game. And so yeah, it didn't sell that well in Japan. It still sold pretty well in some other parts of the world, especially the United States, but yeah, overall the sales, if we remember, were lackluster compared to what they were looking for. I mean, they sold over 3 million. They're like, well, but that's not enough. And it's like, how the frick can that be enough? Not enough. Well, we've seen too with talking about PlayStation Insomniac hack, learning that, in order to break even on PlayStation's Spider-Man 2 that released last year, that they need like 7 million sales just to break even. Like, that's insane. So games cost way more than we think they do. And, yeah, oh, man. And so, yeah, 3 million is not enough. But this may show, too, that Square Enix needs to do something else. So, they may be wearing out their IP. In Capcom, and Square Enix, and, like, other studios like EA, like, they're focusing on remasters, okay, or they're giving, like, the 4K update, okay, but it's like, we really want new IPs, okay? We want new additions to existing IPs or new IPs altogether, and that's ultimately what's going to keep having people come back. Excuse me, folks, just struggling a little bit this morning, and it is early too. It's like 4 in the morning, but yeah, Square Enix may need to reevaluate what they're doing, because if they're really not making enough in sales, which probably 2.2 million is not enough in sales, and for those that And Rebirth is probably a game where most people bought it while it launched, and so they're probably not going to see really a ton of sales after that, because it's continuing on. But then again, it's like, okay, also we're going to have remasters that are in parts. That gets really expensive if you think about it. It's like, okay, we get a smaller game with less content ultimately. It is remastered, woohoo. But maybe even some aspects of it remade or redone. But do you want to pay $120 for a remaster? I don't. Nope. I'm just gonna skip it. I mean, it's all on PlayStation anyway, right? And I don't have one. But yeah, it does make you think about it. It's like, studios and companies, I mean, they're finding ever creative ways to get us to spend more money, because, yeah, $70 is not enough. I think $70 helps, but then again, when you put out Skull and Bones and Suicide Squad, it's really not helping your case. Okay, people would rather buy Stellar Blade, which we'll get to pretty soon. Next is CoDMobile. This is just more live service crap, folks. There's a new gun skin. Okay, it's for the MG42. It's a mini diorama of World War II soldiers flying and playing in real time animations on the gun. I'm not even kidding. It's pretty dope. I mean, it looks pretty cool for a gun skin. Like, that is the new meta, right? But it's still just so stupid because it's $150. So, how do you get it? So you have to acquire pieces by buying draws. In order to, go through the randomization of getting the part you need or not. And once you have all of the items in the pool for this skin, then you can put it all together, and you can get this skin for the MG42, which it can cost an upwards of $150. And then it's even hundreds more to actually level up the gun. So, and this is a free-to-play game. I mean, this is how they do it. Again, they're focusing on the whales that have this money, that have all of this, which is content creators and people that are rich off of their parents or, again, off of their own channels or whatever. And, which, I mean, I'm not pissing on that at all. I just think it sucks that game development, especially the live service part of it, seems to be focusing and catering more to people that have that money, the rich side of the gaming community, instead of just the masses. Because again, it's not made for us, and I think we're starting to see that change. And that sucks. I love my video games, and we still have some studios that are focused on the general masses out of the gaming industry, but then we have other aspects of it that are just focused on the money. And where's the revenue coming from? It's coming from those that have the money. So the rich folks. Yeah, $150. Like, that's, I mean, maybe you get lucky and it only costs you 120 or 100 maybe, to get all of the pieces, but of course they're going to be harder to get than other items in the pool. But yeah, that's just insane. And again, it's a free-to-play game. And Warzone Mobile, it's already failed. More people are playing CoDMobile, so that's why they put the skin on CoDMobile and not Warzone. Because Warzone has already lost like 95% of the retention of those players in just a few weeks. Which, good. I mean, people already had mobile, but I do think we're going to see another trend, just like what Ubisoft has done with a product making it a service, is just say, hey, we're just going to mandatorily require an online connection, even for single-player games like Star Wars Outlaws, and once we just end the licensing or don't pay for it anymore or just switch off the servers, you can't actually play your game anymore, even if you have a physical copy. So I think that's garbage. So yeah, it's just, we need to fight for this stuff, folks. We really do. Otherwise, the gaming industry will get to a state we don't even recognize. I mean, think of Ready Player One and where games got to and what the fight was for. Games are supposed to be fun. And if you're not having fun, quit playing those games. Focus on the community. You can come join us on our Discord server, link below, and play with us or play with others on the channel. But, gosh, I mean, this is just kind of getting depressing what's getting out there. We have a $250 bundle of game feature for Escape from Tarkov, and now we have a $150 diorama skin for an MG42, and then even hundreds more to level it up after that. It's just crazy, folks. Next, we're going to talk about Stellar Blade. So the game is really being loved. Metacritic, the official critic scores is 82 out of 100, and then user scores are 9.1 out of 10. So it's doing very, very well. Most folks are really just enjoying the combat. They're enjoying the art style in the game. They're glad the protagonist is not fugly, and I agree, that's kind of nice. But too, I'm kind of tired of, like, we always keep having protagonists that are women. I know that's probably not a popular view, but let's stop making games political. Can we do that? Can we just enjoy creating games? Can we just enjoy games again instead of trying to cater to one minority over another? And again, I'm not saying, like, let's cut out a minority. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying let's create a game where there's an environment of where it's not politicized, because pretty much everything is now. Have you noticed that? Pretty much everything is politicized, and it's getting frustrating. We used to engage with sports, we used to engage with video games or movies to actually get away from that, and just overall entertainment, and now we can't. It's in everything. And I'm not covering the Sweet Baby Inc. thing. I'm not covering the stuff that's going on with the new tabletop Tomb Raider board game. Okay, I'm not covering what's going on with Warhammer 40k, with the women, whatever those are called, I forget right now. I'm not going to cover that stuff on the channel, because again, I don't want this channel to become political. Okay? I just want to focus on games and the gameplay, what the publishers are doing, and keep the politics out of it. So if that sounds interesting, you can go and like and sub at the channel. And share the content too. I think that helps a lot more. But yeah, Stellar Blade is doing very well. I think this is going to become a contender for maybe Game of the Year, because the other games that we've already had come out this third of the year just really haven't been doing that great. So yeah, if you've played Stellar Blade, let us know in the comments what you think about it. Lastly, we're going to talk about... Oh, no, we got one more. That is non-game related. Pretty insane, though. Okay, so Ubisoft, they're seeing the discontent about Star Wars Outlaws. And the discontent is the price points, okay? The fact that Java the Hutt mission is behind a paywall for the season, having to buy the season pass, which has 2 narrative story expansions to it, which are probably more DLCs than expansions. They'll be smaller. There were also, there's also issues with like Sweet Baby Inc. about the game. But Ubisoft, of course, is doing an Ubisoft thing. They're just pushing more ads about Star Wars Outlaws, and they're using content creators. They're not trying to just push the trailer. They already did that. Okay, I think we'll see probably more of that as we get later into the year, but they're just using more content creators. I've seen 4 different ones just this week where people are, doing a reaction to the trailer, or they're talking about the different editions that you can pay for and what they include. And of course, they all say, "Yeah, I'm excited." And I am too. I'm excited for the game. I actually want to show it here on the channel. You guys voted for it, of course, but I probably would have waited for a sale and gotten the game anyway to play it, because I like Star Wars games. I like space games. I enjoy that. But again, this is not the type of response we're looking for. I don't think Ubisoft is going to change anything. They're going to listen to people withholding money. And, I mean, if you don't agree with what Ubisoft's doing with Star Wars Outlaws, you shouldn't buy the game right away. Okay? You should wait for a sale. And let me tell you what I'm doing. Instead of just buying or pre-ordering the game, I'm going to instead use Ubisoft Play for a month, which is like $18. And then I'll play the game for a month. And then I'll talk about it here on the channel on what I think. I am still going to go over the narrative expansions, but those are going to come out later. And with the season pass, I'll continue to gain Microsoft points that you can use through Bing, use through the Xbox app, and play games on your console, all of that kind of stuff. You can hook that up to your account, and you can turn your points in to get Xbox credit, which is what I do. Every $10 or every 9,000 whatever points, I basically turn in my points and get $10, and I'm roughly doing that every 4 to 5 weeks. And it's been a great way to get cash, so I'm going to save up $40, and then I'm going to buy the season pass. And I'm even going to wait for when the season pass kind of gets closer to release, hoping that maybe when there's a discount, I'll look for one. But yeah, if there's a 10% discount, I'll absolutely want to save a little bit of money on that. And then I can share the stories too. And by then, the game will probably be discounted some anyway, because the sales probably won't be great. And so then I can actually buy the game, or just borrow the game even from GameStop, and then show you the narrative expansions, what the stories are for that week. When they come out. But we don't have to pay $110, folks. We really don't. Think about how you can beat the system. Because again, ultimately what publishers see in this case is money. And if you're going to, stick it to them, don't buy it. Okay? Find ways to go around. Find ways to circumvent how they're trying to get us to consume their stuff. Okay? Think outside the box. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm basically going to pay... well, the season pass is going to be free for me because I'm using Microsoft points. I'm going to spend $18 for 1 month to play the base game. And then I will borrow it, rebuy it, to show you the DLCs when they come out. So, yeah, I'm actually not going to pay very much. And by the time the DLCs come out, the base game is going to be cheaper anyway. And yeah, I personally, I don't want to pay $110. I'm not going to pay $110. But yeah, think outside the box. But unfortunately, Ubisoft is hearing the complaining, okay, but they're not listening, not yet. And that's where we need to withhold the money. I've been promoting that anyway on this channel for a lot of games, is we actually need to withhold the money and get our gaming back. So if you agree with that, or if you have comments about anything that I've said today, go ahead and like, sub, all that jazz. But I will have one more news item for you, and this is not gaming related, but I just think it's insane. So New York City is having a congestion tax. I'm not even kidding. This is going to take place from 60th Street all the way down to the Hugh Tunnel on their little strip there that they got in the city. There's too much congestion. They want to try to cut back. The estimate is they'll cut congestion down by about 30%. This will be taking place during the day from basically 9 to 9, or from like 7 to 6, depending on what day it is. You know, I'll leave a link down below of what the costs are going to be, what the scheduling is going to be for the week, but this goes into effect June 30th. And how they're going to enforce it is through cameras. So basically, they're going to scan every single license plate, and then they'll run the license plates against DMV. They'll get your information, and then they'll send you the bill. You'll just get it in the mail. Like, isn't that great? Isn't that great? It's going to be $15 a vehicle, roughly. And then different times can have different price points or whatever. But yeah, this is every vehicle. This is not just residents. This is all commercial, everything. Every single flipping vehicle is going to be charged. So this is going to make companies go up. Okay, if you're going to do delivery, that's going to make like delivering a pizza go up, or DoorDash go up, because again, they're driving around in that part of the city, whatever. So, and they're going to get charged for it. And if the companies get charged, so are you. So expect during the end of the summer that you're going to see price increases for food, gas, taxis. You're going to see your own commute go up, because now you're going to have to pay for this tax if you got to cross that part. And then this isn't just going to affect that part of the city. This is going to affect the surrounding parts too, because ultimately people are going to reroute and go around. And so if you kind of live in that area, expect traffic to get heavier as people try to avoid having to pay $15 a day to just drive through there. Isn't that insane, folks? Isn't that insane? $15 a day. Golly, you do the math, and that really starts to get expensive just for 7 days out of the month. So yeah, people are going to avoid that like the plague. Also, if you own a business in that part of the town, part of the city, expect people to not be showing up. Because, again, who's going to pay $15 for another meal that's going to cost them $20? No, it's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So yeah, people are going to skip that part of town. People are going to reroute around and make other parts busier and more congested and more frustrating. And so yeah, if you live in New York City, just get out. I mean, just start making plans for the end of the year. Move out before Christmas. Find somewhere else to live for a while where it's cheaper even. There's more space. You can breathe. You can actually see the sky. I mean, doesn't that just sound nice, folks? You wake up to birds in the morning, and the trees are rustling in the breeze, and just you can feel the wind, and it's crisp, and you can see clouds on the horizon, and it's like, you can rest out there. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It sounds great. Because who wants to pay $3,000 for a little teeny apartment that's like 400 square feet? Not this guy. No freaking way. So anyway, that's my suggestion. I'm adding that news because it's going to affect some people maybe that watch this channel. I know New York City is one of the main cities that people watch from. So I'm just letting you guys know. So with that, folks, thanks for tuning in. Again, you can always follow me at GamingGarbage22, and you can also follow me over at Twitch at Don't Tread on the. And then don't forget about the Discord server link below. And if you like and sub, that's wonderful. That helps promote the channel. But I don't think the algorithms enjoy me, so I'm getting censored in my own way because I don't skirt around certain words and whatever. I'm just myself, folks. I really am. And if you enjoy that, you can also share the content too. That'll help me out as well. So with that, folks, hang in there, stay active, and I'll see you guys on the